This is a Republic notice. This is answer to ABC, why successful black women find it so hard to get married. This is part two. Part two. Now, first of all, in part one, I told you you were already married. Now, the question then becomes, why is it so hard to claim one of these men that you are married to constitutionally? That's the question. Not why it's so hard for successful black women to get married. You're already married by supreme contract. The question is, why is it so hard for you to claim one of these men that you're married to? Now, when we're talking about women who wanted to follow the protocol of they get their degree, put their career first, and set themselves up, that's great. I don't knock that. But the fact of it is, are you going by the standard of the world, or are you going by what you actually wanted? Or are you going by what the world demanded of you, or what you demanded of yourself, or what you wanted for yourself? See, because that line is very thin, because we've been brainwashed with a lot of propaganda that if we have a baby out of so-called wedlock, that baby is illegitimate. I told you these televisions is nothing but a propaganda machine. You can't, if you say the black woman baby is illegitimate, that means you saying the whole Constitution is illegitimate. Everybody want to claim this illegitimate 14th that the black baby's supposed to be so illegitimate. How does that sound? See, that's right there telling you it's a bunch of propaganda. It's a bunch of propaganda. Because if the black baby is illegitimate, then that means all y'all trying to claim the black baby 14 birthrights are calling yourself illegitimate. Now, we know you're illegitimate, but the black infant is not illegitimate, whether he has a father in the home or not. Just behind the fact that most of you came in after 1871, the U.S. corporate mule, you have nothing to do with our 1 through 15th amendments that was prior to the U.S. corporate 1871 mule. So this black infant is legitimate, but the propaganda had black women thinking, oh, I got to do this, do that, and I got to get a man, have the ceremony, have the white dress, have my family, see me walk down the aisle. And in the kingdom of God, it's all right to want them things, but the kingdom of God doesn't go by the world standards. In other words, it don't necessarily go by you getting the diamond, you getting that, you getting this, and the whole world. Now, if that can happen for you, it's not nothing to knock. It's not nothing that's a bad thing. If that's what makes you happy, that's what makes you happy. But then the question is, do you want to let all your eggs tick and boil before you have a baby, looking for all that? Or could a baby offer you some fulfillment, since you do have a career, you do have a way of making money, and you do have a way of taking care of a child, whether you have a man inside the home or outside the home? I mean, if you're chemical engineers and you got these careers going, then it's kind of foolish, now that you got all this stuff set up, not to have a child. Not to have a child if you want it. And to put the basis of having a child on worldly standards. Because I already told you, there's no such thing as a black illegitimate baby. Now, if a man is not with you, or doesn't want to go down the aisle and declare you as his first wife, then you're still a constitutional coextensive partner in producing all persons born. In other words, you still have the legality. And that baby is still legitimate. The black woman produces all legitimate children. Whether her child is by a black man, or Puerto Rican man, or white man, all her children are legitimate by supreme contract. She's the supremacy clause. Okay, so I'm saying this. Now, the ABC show, it showed a black girl interested in the first white man who looked at her. And this is pretty sad. This is pretty sad because it's something about men that can smell desperation. And you really don't want to put yourself in that position of desperation. It's so many Puerto Rican men that will want you. It's so many other Israelites from Jamaica and Trinidad. There's other Hamites available all over the earth. There's other islanders that you can start. You can start your own dating services and get somebody to meet. You can start a spiritual connections. You can start oldies clubs where y'all looking into music, classic R&B, classic soul music. You can start clubs like that. You can get really busy and not be so focused on a man rather than not focusing on communications. So if you focus on just starting communications rather than on just making sure you get the man, open up the door to communications. In other words, form networks. If you could be successful at the career, you could be successful at forming networks. And I would tell you, after 2009, I suggest there's nothing wrong with you going white, but the sun is heating up. You might want to look for melanin. And you might want to look for melanin after 2009 because the Jerusalem wall, New Jerusalem was finished when Michelle Obama walked in the White House. So is no more real sincere Robert De Niro's walking around that truly just like black women and have always liked black women. So I suggest it may be some around, but like I said, the sun is heating up. It's a whole lot of Israelites out there. It's a whole lot of islanders out there. It's a whole lot of mixed men out there. You don't have to naturally default into a white man, okay? I'm not knocking it, but some black women feel as though they have to naturally default into the one because they don't want to make no effort. It's a whole bunch of black men in prison, too. Whole bunch of black men in prison, too, that might not be in there forever, that you need to open up lines of communication with so that you don't appear desperate to other men. If you communicate with men and establish friendships with men, then you won't appear desperate to other men. That's what I'm saying. If you start clubs that will connect with men, where that you can start communication with men, then you won't appear desperate to other men. Because after you have done your career and got your degree, that's kind of like a worldly thing. Just like it's a worldly thing to get a prenuptial agreement. Well, the Constitution is your prenuptial agreement. That's why if you're making $200,000 a year and you meet a black man making $10,000, you're not going to lose nothing. You're a constitutional supreme contractor. You don't have to go through these chains of worrying, wow, I make $200,000 a year and he make $10,000. He's going to come after my money if I leave him or he leave me and this and that and that and that and the other. Well, if you know your constitutional rights and you understand and you can ask anybody, produce a contract supreme to yours, then he will know and you will know that he cannot take nothing from you by supreme contract. Because, like I said, you're the first receiver of the 14th Amendment. You're the supremacy clause. In other words, the intelligence of the kingdom knew that a lot of you would be in a better position to protect the wealth. Not only that, you're the mainstay of blacks, as we see with raising children alone at 70 and 80%. As constitutional coextensive partners that they call single parents. So I'm saying you don't have to be scared to date or marry or have a baby by a low-income black male or what they call an attrition black male. Because the high rank of you reaching your God status as a woman and producing a child if you want it is way more important than money. Money and the love of money and putting it first is making it a god. No, you have to become the coextensive co-creator, God's producing a Judah heir. Producing a Judah heir. Whether you want to, in a long-term commitment with the man or not. Now, Steve Harvey was right about that. You don't have to have somebody making exactly what you make. But a lot of black women are scared because they've been programmed that somebody's going to take something from them. You got to decide what your priorities are. Because you can't go to bed with money. Laying in the green dollar bill ain't going to give you the satisfaction. It's just not. A baby would, and the friendship of a man would. Okay? So this is what you got to decide. You got to decide, do you want to keep holding on to what the world have programmed you to? Or do you want to follow the holy covenant that told you to be fruitful and multiply and produce all persons born and to serve the kingdom by understanding that you're already married in the supreme contract to the kingdom and Judah is married to Judah, and that you don't need a prenuptial agreement because all you got to do is ask them to produce a contract higher than yours, and there is none on earth. It's just that simple. Now, another reason you can't claim your man is because of black vaginal envy. And it depends on how much you want to stand up to black vaginal envy. Are you ready to call these Babylon whores out? Are you ready to tell them that they are nothing but sorceress whores and that the black man is already married? Are you ready to claim some of your men back? Are you bold enough? Are you bold enough to begin to claim some of your men that can be salvaged back? Are you bold enough to tell these women none of them belong to? None of these men belong to them, and you're ready to put a constitutional lien on all their property and to claim everything they own so none of their descendants have nothing? Okay? See, you got a lot of leverage you don't know about. See, you're kind of looking at things very close to you, and you need to project. You need to project more. Because when you project more, you'll see further than your own limitations. Now, when a black woman is ready to let these Babylon whores know, and I'm talking about black men, Babylon whores, and all these other women they whore with, when she ready to let them know that they don't have nothing, they just bondage and trash, then she will be seen in another way. She will create a whole new image for herself. A whole new image revamping. One that is not a rug to be walked on by any and everybody. And to be sitting up there telling the ABC about how you can't find no man and how you not married. See, you're the smartest woman with these degrees. But you don't even know your own constitutionality. You don't even know your own covenant status. Which tells me that these Babylon schools trained you to still be inferior to who you are. This is Mary Omni from the House of King David. Shalom. YouTube Black Vaginal Envy and get another perspective.